Hi, welcome to Two Bear Arms Podcast. Another great episode coming to you. We've got a lot of good information to cover today. I'm Kurt with Two Bear Arms Gun Shop, and this is my business partner,
Deuce Stevens with We the People Munitions.
And we're going to cover some topics today, starting with industry news. Let's talk a little bit about that. Been getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of questions here in the retail side of things, asking about different supplies. And, this has been going on for over a year now, folks, and we're all holding tough to get through it. We appreciate everybody's patience on things. But from the industry side of things, we are starting to see just a little glimmer of hope here and there. In the past 2 weeks, we've been able to purchase more firearms than we've been able to purchase all at once in several months. It's been pretty fantastic. Ammo is still the big issue, and since Deuce runs the ammo company, We the People Munitions Company, why don't you cover a little bit on ammo from us and then also ammo from the industry itself?
Ammo from We the People Munitions Company. We're again kind of doing our main focus on some of our defensive ammo right now, as well as our competition ammo. We are starting to see some components loosen up a little bit. In the form of even some primers as of late, and in the form of brass. And what's been very encouraging as we've had some projectiles loosen up the last couple of weeks, hollow points and stuff like that, things that have been very difficult to get a hold of. I think it's just kind of one of those deals where you have to almost make it your full-time job to go after components constantly, and the squeaky wheel does get the grease at times, so we try hard every day and are constantly chasing our vendors and our suppliers. From the industry standpoint, we've seen in the shop a little bit of loosening up of some defensive ammo, and even some ball ammo, some target ammo, which is great to see. It's encouraging. Even as a ammo manufacturer myself, I still love to see other ammo come in, because that means that the industry is moving. It's coming along, and I think I definitely see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. So I don't know if we're going to have be a full blown open the floodgates anytime soon this year, but it is encouraging.
Sure. And that brings up a good point about while we are pseudo competitors with all the other ammo companies, and our gun shop is pseudo competitors with other gun shops. At the same time, we're all in the same industry, we're all in the same boat, and we're all hoping that everything comes together nationwide as far as the industry itself, because we don't want to see other gun shops struggling or other ammo companies struggling. The more availability, the more that everyone can get the supplies that they want, and it's good for the industry as a whole, for hunting, for competitive shooting, for personal protection, for just recreational shooting in general. We've got to keep the supplies out there in order to keep people doing it and keep people interested in it and bring new people to the sport or to the industry. So it is getting a little more encouraging, and we hope to see more stuff coming here soon. Special order wise, folks, we get a lot of phone calls daily, people wanting us to special order. In fact, yesterday one of my friends got a hold of me. He's a friend because he's been a good customer here, and we've kind of become friends, and he got a hold of me yesterday wanting a very special rifle from Wilson Combat, which we are a direct dealer for. So I contacted Wilson Combat regarding that particular rifle, and they did say that they have now mainstreamed their line. They're only focusing on basically the top 7 sellers in their rifle lineup so they can catch up back orders. They're hoping to bring back their secondary lines, such as their super snipers, their hide hunters, and a few of their others. They're hoping to bring those back sometime around October, November. So they're pushing real hard to get caught up on the mainstream stuff. So that point being said, that kind of tells you, if you're looking for something very special or specialized from any brand, not just Wilson Combat, but from any brand, realize that there are going to be some lags in the industry, because they're producing their top sellers right now that every dealer in the United States is trying to get their hands on, either for inventory or for customer requests. So just hang in there a little bit with it.
And again, just not to go off on a tangent at all, but Kurt touched on an item that I think is really important, again, that we all support each other as much as possible. Like I said, competition is great, but we are all kind of in the same boat, going for the same goal. And so I think sometimes as an industry or even as a shooting community, sometimes it can get a little fractured. I think it's really important that we stay the course and help support each other.
Absolutely.
Even in frustrating times. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. Still staying in the industry news area, but one thing I wanted to kind of show today, and we're talking about hard to get and specialty type items that people are seeking to find, and we just recently got a shipment of these in, and I wanted to show them because people ask different times when you mention the name Banshee. A lot of people are familiar with it. I will premise this by saying that all these firearms have been cleared multiple times that we are demonstrating here. There is no ammunition within this room, so the guns are clear and safe. For those that are only listening through their favorite podcast, we'll do the best we can to kind of describe the situation just a little bit, but for those watching us on YouTube, then obviously you can see it and pick up the information there. So if you are watching it on the podcast, you can jump over to the YouTube and take a look if you're interested directly in this model. But this is from CMMG, which is a fantastic family-owned company. It was started, I believe, around 2002 in Missouri. It's a family-operated company. I believe 3 family members started it, and they wanted to produce really good quality, but kind of on the basic scale ARs, and that's what they launched the company with, and it took off immediately. They started making a lot of parts for just general packaging for people to do build kits and secondary parts for repairs, and then they started providing parts to other manufacturers and such, and their line expanded in the ARs, and now they have some of the most respected ARs in the business. But sometime during their early 2000s, they came up with the concept of the Banshee. And the Banshee being a short-framed, started out in strictly pistol caliber, and probably their most popular, of course, is the 9mm, which is what I'm holding here. They have three series of the Banshee. They have the 100, the 200, and the 300, respectively. And of course, the 100 being their basic model. Single-sided safety on it, standard grip, standard forearm, and standard industry basic arm brace on it. And it comes in just standard black. So then you go into the 200 series, you start getting into some of the additional features, the upgraded safeties on them, upgraded forearms on them. They come in several different barrel lengths. The one that I'm holding here, I believe these are the 4.5-inch barrels. This one is in bazooka green, which I think is a fantastic color. We also have one in the background back here in the flat dark earth. And this is the 300 series. So you have ambidextrous safeties, you have the upgraded grips. The arm brace is an upgraded fastback arm brace, which is fantastic. It's a great arm brace, multi-position. And then your threaded barrel set up for suppressor application. Takes Glock magazines, which is fantastic. And then, of course, it comes in several different Cerakote colors. You can go to their website at CMMG to take a look at their color palettes. And then, there again, this is one of those firearms that's kind of hard in the industry to locate right now, especially in some of the other calibers. We have the 10mm on back order right now. We have the 45s on back order. They also make it in 300 blackout, 5.56. 5.7 by 2.8, and I think there's a couple other calibers in there also that are escaping me at the moment. But we do have the 9mm in stock here, and feel free to come by and take a look at it.
You actually carry a 10mm every day.
Yes, I do. I've had a 10mm from them for quite some time. The unique thing with their 10mm series is that they're one of the only companies in current production of a small pistol-sized platform, AR platform, that can cycle any of the 10mm ammo. And we can do another video on that at some point in time, but they developed a proprietary bolt delay that is used on some other guns, but they've converted it over into their platform, and it works fantastically with virtually all ammo. And I've fired a lot of different ammo, including homemade ammo out of it, and it fires fantastically. I carry that gun every day back and forth to the shop, and that's my little carry gun in my truck if I'm going on a trip or anything. So
I'll just throw in my 2 cents worth, guys.
Sure.
When you look at a quality AR pistol platform like this, you know, the things that you're getting with this are things that you would probably want to upgrade if you bought a more economical AR pistol, okay? Upgraded brace, charging handle, integral hand stop. You know, this gun, you know, great grip on it, awesome profile trigger. This gun's ready to go. So that's something to consider when you're shopping around. What am I going to want to do to that gun? Sure. You know, enhanced bolt release, stuff like that. You know, that gun's slap an optic on it or a flip up and you're ready to go.
Absolutely.
So, and you know, the great thing about those guns is that will accept even the Glock 26 mags.
Yep.
So it'll accept any Glock 9mm mag you can put in it. So really cool concept. Great truck gun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. All right. So we'll lay that back up here. And a little bit about our sponsors for our podcast and our YouTube videos. We the People Munitions Company, Indiana grown ammunition, if you will. Go to our website at WTPmunitions.com. Take a look at our offerings on there. We do ammo drops periodically, so find us on Facebook and on Instagram. And follow us there, and you'll see when we're getting ready to do ammo drops on there. Ammo drops, you know, depending on how much we drop, but they usually last 24 to 48 hours, something like that, worth of inventory. So if you see it, jump on there real quick. The best way to do it is just to follow us on there so you can see what we are dropping. And then also sponsored by Two Bear Arms Gun Shop, our retail gun store here. We offer custom-made holsters. We offer gunsmithing classes. We have shooting ranges here on the property. We also, of course, have a good-sized retail store. Take a look at us at tbagunshop.com and follow us also on Facebook and Instagram. We're on Facebook daily, sometimes multiple times throughout the day, so it's a good way to keep up with what's coming in and also any contests or anything that we're running at the time.
Yeah, we quite often get asked if we have a waiting list or a call list for certain firearms that are hot at the moment, and Facebook is the absolute best place to get that information if you follow Two Bear Arms, because we post multiple times daily.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's worth the follow. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
Well, you recently went on a Wyoming trip.
Yes. Yes. Just recently got back a couple weeks ago from Wyoming. We went out there for the purpose of mountain lion hunting. We went with Great Plains Outfitters out there. I've dealt with them in the past. They're fantastic outfitter. Dirk, the owner of the company, great guy. I consider him a friend at this point. Myself and one of my other friends went out there a couple weeks ago. You know, and sometimes, you know, people don't like to talk about lack of success, I guess. And I'm glad you brought this up because this is a good moment to talk about that a little bit. You know, not every hunting trip is going to be successful for people. And it's what you take away from the hunting trip that can, I guess, make it successful. Success can be deemed in several different ways. But in our case, yeah, the temperatures, a couple days before we were heading out there, we seen the forecast with a lot of snow, and our guide was extremely excited about that. He said, hey man, you know, this amount of snow is going to be fantastic for tracking mountain lions. And they were very excited about it. We were very excited about it. On our way out there, the forecast changed a little bit. They got a lot more snow than they expected, and then also the wind shifted and the temperatures dropped. And once we got there, we were in minus temperatures for the entire week. Sometimes the actual temperature getting down to 22 below zero, wind chills getting down to minus 40, minus 45. So you can imagine what the game did. The game found nice warm spots to lay down and hide. Everything except for the elk. The elk seemed to not care much.
Yeah.
We got to see a lot of beautiful elk. We were in the Bighorn Mountains and in the Ten Sleep Valley area, and it was just absolutely beautiful, beautiful scenery. Very difficult conditions. You know, we would take the trucks out in the morning looking for fresh lion tracks. We'd ride all the logging trails and all the land management trails. And the guys worked really hard. We had two different guides. My buddy went with one guide, I went with the other. And they take you up in the mountains on these trails. And there again, they had 18 to 24 inches of snow basically everywhere. And so it was nonstop 4-wheel drive, tire spinning type stuff, and it was pretty exciting. It was a lot of fun. And then once the sun come up, then we'd go back and get the snowmobiles so we could go up even higher. And we hit elevations over 9,500 feet in several cases, and did a lot of searching in that 7,000 to 8,000 foot range. And had a lot of fun on the snowmobiles. It was extremely cold, extremely cold. It's hard to even explain how cold -40 is when you're on a snowmobile. And I don't know what that changed the wind chill to once you're up to speed, but we're going 20 mile an hour or so I'm sure that added to it.
Right.
But,
well, and having watched you kind of prep for the trip for a few months, talking to you about it, listening, are you glad because you did like a daily workout routine? I know I saw you out here hiking with a heavy pack on and stuff like that. So were you glad? Do you feel like you were prepared for that elevation and for as tough as the hunt was?
You always think you're prepared, and yes, that's a good point. If you are planning on going out west for a trip, folks, understand what you're up against with the elevation, especially. I mean, we're at 600 feet here, elevation-wise.
Flatlanders.
Yeah, we're flatlanders completely. In comparison to out there in Wyoming, immediately you could feel a little bit of a difference there. But yeah, preparing for a trip like that, and had there not been so much snow, we would have done a lot more hiking. We did a fair amount of short hikes, basically just checking into ravines and things where we couldn't get any of the snow machines or obviously the trucks. But we didn't do near the amount of hiking that we would have done if they wouldn't have gotten the snow. We would have been hiking a tremendous amount. So that's a good question to ask your guides when you're looking into a hunt. And I've been a few different places. I haven't gone on a tremendous amount of guided hunts as of yet. I'm going to try to go on a few more here and there, just for the experience of it and just to be able to bring back information for you folks. So, once you find your guide, make sure you understand the difficulty level of the trip that you're planning. And most of the time you have to plan the trip several months in advance. It's we had that trip planned for, 5 or 6, probably 7 months. Yeah. And I talked about it before then. We just hadn't picked a date yet. So 6 or so months prior is when we picked the date. And then we started working real hard, both my buddy Rodney and myself, getting into shape, hiking quite a bit. I purchased an altitude mask, which I've had for several years. Helps intensify the training purpose, but it simulates it restricts your breathing while you're hiking to simulate 5,000 or 6,000 feet. So that helps out tremendously. So if you are going out west, that's something to look into. Also, just kind of a free plug. They're not one of our sponsors, but just kind of a free plug for bookyourhunt.com. That's where I located my past couple of hunts that I've been on. Hunt the year prior down in Kentucky for archery season, which was fantastic. Found those folks down there, Premier Outfitters down there in Kentucky. Had a great time down there under, again, tough conditions. But bookyourhunt.com, go on, create a little profile. It's free, and then you can filter your hunts, take a look at it, and filter it by time of year that you want to go, location, of course, species that you want to hunt, or the type of hunting you want to do. Do you want to do archery or firearm or muzzleloader even? So you can filter things in that site and be able to look at a lot of different outfitters on there. And I've had good success with it. There again, with anything else, do your due diligence and understand what you got. So that's a little bit on the Wyoming hunt. Feel free to stop in at the store at any point in time if you want to talk to me more details. And if you want to see the pictures and that type of thing. I took a lot of really great photos, got a lot of really beautiful scenery, and got a lot of wildlife on there. Just no mountain lions this time. Yeah. We're going back later in the next year. We're going back again. Our guide invited us back, and he's doing us a special consideration on this to come back, and he's bound and determined he's going to get us the mountain lion. So Dirk, counting on you to get that mountain lion for us. We'll see you soon.
But definitely not a canned hunt by any means.
Definitely not a canned hunt. Absolutely. And if that's your thing, if you like the idea, and there again, canned hunt is used loosely, but if you hunt high fence or whatever, that's as long as you're taking the animals ethically and that type of thing, and that's your cup of tea, and whether it's because of time restrictions or physical restrictions or there's a specific trophy that that you're after and that's the direction you want to go, hey, by all means do it. Hunting, as long as it's done ethically, I have no problem with any methods of hunting, whether it's, some friends of ours or a customer of ours, they go down and spear hunt wild boar, that's a little rough for my taste
pretty
at my
intense.
age.
That's pretty intense.
But so it's great to just see that everybody has a lot of different options to go on. But yeah, this was definitely not a high fence hunt. This was I can't believe the amount of space you could see from the top of these mountains. We were looking at other mountain ranges. I asked the guide, I said, how far is that mountain range over there? He said it's 125 miles. He said it's by Cody, Wyoming.
Wow.
And so we're standing on top of a mountain looking clear across to another mountain. So you don't realize how small you are until you see that. So, all right, just a quick, we'll move on here, just a little quick statement. Make sure you're following us on our Facebook, Instagram. Please follow us on the YouTube and also on your favorite podcast providers such as Spotify. I know there's several other ones out there, but that's the one that I use. Please follow us on there. We want you to start following, get all the news from us, and we appreciate the support there. And now we're going to move into some news about Single Action Shooting Society, SAS, and the upcoming World Championship known as EOT.
Yeah, and End of Trails happening right here at Paradise Pass in Edna Green, Indiana. Again, June 18th through the 26th, 2021. We're constantly working around the clock. We're starting to get a lot of the finite details worked out, and getting some awesome participation. I've got some rough numbers, and I actually give credit where credit's due. I got some of these participation numbers from Travis Walker on Facebook. He kind of did a little analysis of state participation. For example, from Texas, we've got over 50 shooters coming.
Great.
Over 40 shooters from Illinois, over 40 from Ohio. Michigan's got over 30 shooters in there. Florida, fair little piece for driving. They've got over 30 shooters coming at us. California, we've got 20 shooters coming from California. That's pretty awesome. I know that quite a group of them are coming out and they're going to be camping with us. Georgia, right around 20 shooters. Tennessee, in that same realm, and New York. Basically, guys, we got people coming from all over the country, and we're so excited about that. And I do like, the top 10 participation states here pretty much are Texas, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Florida, Kentucky, California, Georgia, Tennessee, and New York. Okay. So that's a pretty wide spectrum. I'm pretty proud of that. So very excited about that. Again, we're going to be releasing updates and news as it comes to us. We're excited around here because the temperatures are rising, and that's going to allow us to get on the range and do a little bit of work and definitely kind of get us out of the winter blues and looking forward to the springtime and the warmer weather and definitely the summertime.
Sure. So, last night I took the dogs for a walk onto the range after we'd closed up the shop, and we were measuring some stuff out even last night, just looking some things over and trying to decide how we're getting everything in here, but it's all going to fit. It's going to look really good. So. And with the participation, I've gotten a lot of calls from folks and a lot of emails, and really looking forward to having so many people come here for the first time. We hope you have a great time. We're going to work really, really hard to make sure that happens. Also, had several of them asking, and we mentioned it in case you didn't know, 4 days after EOT ends on the 26th, on the 2nd of July, we start our Indiana state match here. So we will be tearing down all the target placements, many of the props, and rearranging some of the tents and just the logistical items. And we will be reset up in 4 days for the Indiana state match, which we will hold here. And that's always been a fantastic event. We'll be over the 4th of July weekend, so a lot of folks will have that Monday off, which will be the 5th of July. So we'll finish our event on the 4th of July, which is pretty awesome. And that'll give you an extra day to travel home with hopefully not having to use vacation time or that type of thing. I know there's a group of folks I really enjoyed talking to a couple weeks ago from Washington State. And they're coming here for the EOT, and then they're also decided if they're coming that far, they're going to stay for the Indiana State. I also have a longtime shooter that's been a friend of ours. He lives in New York, he got a hold of me and he couldn't make it into EOT. He was too far into the waiting list. So he said to heck with it. They're still coming to Indiana. They're going to come for the Indiana State Shoot, which is pretty great. So that's a consolation prize. If you didn't get into EOT, you're still welcome to come to Indiana. So you can sign up for that at paradisepassregulators.com. Also, let's see, in May we have another event.
In May, we're going to have the Make Black Powder Great Again annual that we have here. This will be the second time we're running that particular format. That's going to be May 22nd and 23rd. And that is a kind of a, I guess it's a black powder only event, and kind of a celebration of black powder shooting within cowboy action shooting. You know, the focus is a little bit more of an old school style match. We're going to do stuff that we did 20 years ago. You know, there'll be, you know, there's, I think the rumor is there's going to be a buckboard this year. You know, and the targets are still going to be reasonable. Still a lot of fun, guys. But we're going to do some on the clock stuff that we don't typically do at some of the larger matches. We did it last year. It was very well received and a lot of fun. The spirit of the event is just a lot of fun. You know, maybe a little less competitively geared and more fun geared.
Sure.
And so, you know, hey, if you like to run it and be competitive, you can still do that there. Absolutely. So, you know, but we'll have lots of good food, and that's a great kind of family style event. Again, May 22nd, 23rd. We've got apps coming in for that every day, so that's going to be a great event. Big Iron Bohannon and Little Iron Lucille will be helping us produce that event, so we're very much looking forward to it. And we're also running, during that time, we are also running a few different categories. For example, we're running Plainsman as a main match category. Plainsman is cap and ball revolvers mixed with a single shot rifle, and the shooter, instead of a pistol caliber rifle, they'll be shooting a single shot rifle, you know, 6 to 8 rounds per stage. So just something a little different for guys that enjoy the Plainsman side of SAS. So, and then just one more thing to add about Into Trail, guys. If you were unable to make it into the match, I promise you it's still going to be a great event to come and spend the day with us. If you're a cowboy shooter, if you're thinking about cowboy shooting, even if you live 3, 4, 5 hours away, it'll be worth the drive. We have over a dozen vendors coming. We've got leather guys, we've got clothers, we've got custom knife makers, we've, you know, bullet suppliers, you name it, we're going to have it there. You know, a couple of firearms manufacturers, if you want to come put your hands on some stuff, and make sure you know, all the stuff you see in the Cowboy Chronicle or on the internet, you'll be able to come and see in person and talk to those folks. So make sure you come here, because it's going to be also be kind of a Wild West celebration as well during that time.
Sure.
So
sure.
If you're interested in any, and that goes for the general public too. Even if you're not a cowboy shooter, you probably can come around and find something that you can't live without with one of the vendors. So
Right. And in one of our upcoming podcasts, we're going to talk directly about some of the vendors that we have coming. I'm really excited about the food vendors that we have lined up, and the diversity that we have involved in that, and the scheduling that we have involved in that. So we'll have a lot of different vendors coming in at different times, and we'll talk specifically about it. All of them are local vendors for Northern Indiana, so if you're from out of state, you're going to get some really great flavors that maybe you don't get, like I got when I went out to New Mexico for EOT. So this will be fantastic. We're really looking forward to that. And there again, you know, sasnet.com. A lot of information there regarding it. You can also see it on Facebook at the SAS Facebook page, and there's also a Facebook page directly for EOT. So take a look at those. If you're not following them, please follow them, so then that way you can get the latest and updated information. And we will continue to post information, you know, as we get it available and as we get things locked down. And we'll cover a little bit about EOT on every single podcast. We're running out of time today, folks. It's kind of a shame we didn't quite get through all the information that we wanted to get through, but we wanted to thank you folks for listening, and we'll have an upcoming podcast here coming soon from Duke Stevens and from CC Top. We thank you for watching and for listening, and keep your powder dry. Thank you.
Have a great weekend.